if there's anything you're going to get from this conversation is just how deep astrology is. You may know your sun, moon, and rising sign, and you read a horoscope every once in a while, but I can tell you, my friends, that is like a tinker toy. Like, not even compared to the wisdom and the knowledge and the information that's actually readily accessible inside of a chart. I had my first astrology reading in 2019, which awoke things in me. I've shared the story a little bit, but if any of you are interested, you can go to my website and read about me. I literally wrote all about that particular experience. But I remember feeling for the first time in my life that I was seen, that I felt truly acknowledged for being a soul in a body with a mission and a purpose. And I remember at the end of that reading asking the astrologer if she would teach me. And she said no, because I didn't need her. I was going to be my own teacher. And I was like, girl, I don't think so. I'm invested in six figures in a PhD program in leadership studies. I don't think I'm going to do this astrology thing. Well, lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. But I ended up writing my doctoral dissertation about the use of astrology as a tool for self discovery, which I never expected to do. We went through the Renaissance and an age of enlightenment, which I think is a big paradox because at that point, in my perspective, that point in human history is where we fell into a lot of darkness, where a lot of ancient knowledge, ancient wisdom, spiritual knowledge was wiped off the face of the earth, or at least put into secret compartments where most people didn't know about them. This is how I would say it. And so, as you were talking about, because people do ask me sometimes, astronomy, astrology, it was the exact same thing for much of human history, actually. And then it was divorced. So astrology and astronomy became a separate thing. So essentially, what do we want to talk about? Well, we divorced humanity from the cosmos around that time, right? Separating the humanness from just the physical aspects. This is also, by the way, not surprising because this is a time where Newtonian physics was really big in the world as well. So, this idea of cause and effect, and that we're separate from the world, the scientific method, all of these things, Cartesian logic, where now we're starting to think of humanity as our mind. Because I have a mind, I'm separate from the universe, right? Which really, in consciousness on planet Earth, was a time of separation, of dividing ourselves from the cosmos. We started to create science, human and science, the physical and the non physical are separate. There was absolutely an intention to separate astronomy and astrology. And I'm going to say it's because astrology is so powerful. This is a knowledge system that those in power do not want you to know. In fact, I would argue that in the world, there's been a lot over the last maybe 100 years, but 50 years or so, to make astrology look fun and cute and shallow and whatever, to essentially hide the fact that it's just so incredibly powerful because all of the world's leaders use astrology. They have for really history. Um, some of them we know about, some of them we don't. Some of the most advanced people spiritually on planet Earth in the highest priesthoods of all of the world's religions know astrology. And they don't want you to know how powerful that is. But I think what's really beautiful in this age that we're in now, and it is the role that astrology is kind of playing because it's a bridge for a lot of people. They're like, oh, that's fun or interesting. Let's look at that, when in reality, we're coming into our knowing of ourselves again as part of the cosmos. See, when you're divorced or separated from the creator, from God, from source, from the universe, whatever, then it's really easy to ignore things or to write off, let's say, things like astrology. But when we start to look at it again and realize that we are actually interconnected, that astronomy and astrology are one and the same, and that, well, our thoughts and physical reality are one and the same, right? We're talking about quantum physics here, which we don't need to get to in this episode. But there's a resurgence that is happening with astrology in the world. And it's not just because there's a bunch of people now who are interested in woo woo, like, new age thought. And there is no coincidence, I believe, where we're seeing a decline in a lot of organized religions, which, I'm just going to say it, have a lot to do with control and manipulation of people, at least control of thought, let's put it that way, doctrine. Whereas astrology, in my experience, is the exact opposite. It's a key to freedom because fundamentally, as I understand astrology, this is a tool for understanding and enacting free will. Like, how do I, a soul, I had a plan here in this lifetime, and I make choices when I'm down here. And knowing astrology actually helps me to consciously move through my life. For me, it's a tool of freedom. And so I don't think it's any surprise that we're seeing a decline in organized religion in the world and a rise in astrology and other tools like that, too.